Gemini, this is Olin Odinson. Welcome to your weekly reading with me. Alright, Gemini. So, for whoever is here at this message, uh, we're gonna start with the runes and then head over to other divination tools. So, what the runes are telling me with the positions and their meanings, you guys are needing to understand things less from an intellectual space, less from the mind space, and more from a spiritual soul space. And that's going to help the situation that you're in play out better and a lot easier. Because what I'm picking up on, Gemini, this energy that I'm picking up on, it feels very... It doesn't feel serious at all, but it feels like something that you're dealing with that could become very, very beautiful and magnificent if you just release your mind from the situation and let your soul be more present. Let your soul song be more present. Let your soul be the loudest thing. That's this rune, soul. Soul. Your soul. It needs to be the loudest voice in your head. At least in this moment, that's the advice that I'm getting for you guys. Because when it comes to a situation in love, because there is love involved here, it works a lot better when you know less about the person. As unhealthy as that sounds, you gotta give space for the other person to reveal themselves to you. Don't mark them off or don't write them off immediately because of past partners. Don't write them off immediately because a certain way of thinking of how you've managed to perceive them in the span of a second or two. It's like, I'm just seeing a Gemini who orchestrated a thought about someone, and that ended up jeopardizing a situation, a relationship, something, before it actually even happened. Just what I'm getting. With these two fairies present, the fairy who's kissed by the pixies and the green woman, there's a lot of focus on one individual. So it feels like there's a lot of focus on you for some reason. There might be someone that's really focused on you, Gemini. Yeah, there might be someone who's really focused on you. But I'm also getting this is your mind being too focused on how someone operates, on how someone receives, on how you're just too in your head about a love situation, about trying to understand someone. And it's like the more you try to understand them, the less you know about them. Or the less attracted you are about them, because it's almost, I don't want to say judgmental, but that's the word that came to my head. It's almost judgmental. It's just judging something too quickly. Just what I'm receiving. And then bottom of the deck is the Gawacha card. This is an unexpected surprise, an unexpected tower moment, Gemini. So with this, I feel as though once you manage to allow your mind to be less present in relationship dynamics, when it comes to feeling though, I don't mean to say, that sounds like unhealthy advice, to say don't think at all, just go in this mindlessly. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is to let your soul be the loudest voice in your head. Don't let your mind, your human way of thinking that needs to understand, interfere with a natural state of love and flow. You cannot control love. Love is the freest being in this whole universe. It will not be shackled. Love, it just will not be shackled. So, with all that being said, you must truly imbibe your soul when it comes to feeling, and not imbibe your mind and think your way to emotions. No, you must feel your way into emotions, because that's the most authentic form of it. You thinking your way into emotions, it's going through a barrier. It's like, oh, before we feel this, we must evaluate 0 1 0 1 0 1. Okay, I can feel this way. Kind of interesting. That's kind of a familiar um, message that we got for cancer. Like, their literal title is, I need to know this before I can feel this. And it's like, you really need to allow your soul to drive here. Yeah. Then I'm gonna end it. Yep. Yep. Bottom of the deck, the Fawn here, counterpart cards. And before it is List of the Shadows, Miak the Mealmancer. I'm just showing you guys the cards, I don't know why, but you just look at the imagery, the Singer of Connection, and the He of the Fiery Sword. So right after the Gawacha is He of the Fiery Sword. This is action. This is something that is coming in at full speed, but it's coming from you. This is stemming from you, because with List of the Shadows, this is you releasing yourself from the mind, from the shadows of the mind. This is you pulling yourself away from that, because you're so focused on connecting your soul to your reality. You're so focused on connecting that feeling of love in your life. Yeah, some of you are just really, really allowing yourself, or about to start allowing yourself, to let your soul drive. With Miak the Mealmancer, paired with the Singer of Connection, excuse my tongue, this is being completely focused on bringing something together. Thank you. This is being completely focused on bringing something together. With the Fawn, two halves of the same whole. This might be a twin flame that you're dealing with here, Gemini, but it's not going to be for all of you. But it's like, you see someone that you know you get along with, but your mind is constantly interfering with the connection. You're trying to think up a way to make this stable, but actually the most stable way to make something a relationship, the best way to make a relationship stable is to have emotional security. You can't really have emotional security when your thoughts are controlling your emotions. Excuse me. You can't really have emotional security when you are gullible to the thoughts, to the shadows of your mind, and just not really having a hold of your emotions because of just random thoughts. Thoughts that need to understand something. So with all that we have said, Gemini, I don't mean to have reprimanded any of you, but all this energy is only present because I do feel like love is making its debut in your life. Yeah, I really do feel like love is making its debut in your life. Like, you're finally, what's behind the Fawn? You know, romance. This is lots of play with the creative poet, with the romantic soul. Is the return, excuse me, the return of a romance. Wow. Apologies. Had to. Alright, let's see. I don't know if I'm gonna do next week weeklies, if I'm being honest. I might have to do something for all the signs because of how wacky the schedule has gotten. But anyway, let's see, what do we have here? Wow. Wow, wow, wow. How many major arcana? 4 major arcana. And in the center of these four major arcana is 10 of Pentacles and Page of Wands. So this is a brand new approach to a long-term and stable commitment. With the wheel turning in your favor, the Fortune Fairy and the Justice card alongside each other. This is the wheel card. By the way, this is the wheel card in this tarot deck. With these two side by side, things are being balanced once and for all. Things are being balanced karmically for you to receive this stable reality. And then before that, because I have this in the center, this on the right side of the center, so the future, and then the energy that you're coming from. So these two people, this is you, or this is you, this is them, or this is them. However, the High Priestess and the Emperor. I feel like this is you though, Gemini. The High Priestess. You're very magical and you're very intuitive. You know a lot of secrets of the spiritual world. So when it comes to reading a person, when it comes to dealing with people or situations with relationships, you might have the tendency to know everything about them from the get-go. And you might have had a pattern of allowing that to drive the relationship. But that's why we were getting all this advice prior to this, which was allow your intuition, allow your emotions to, allow your soul, specifically, allow your soul to guide the situation so that you don't allow a mind or thought or fear to completely write someone off for something they're not. You don't want to do that because, right, this is them. This is an emperor. This is someone, you might be dealing with an Aries, Gemini, or just a fire sign, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. But I'm also seeing an earth sign too with Capricorn, Taurus, Virgo. Might just be a mix of that in their chart. But with the Emperor and the High Priestess alongside each other, it's lovely. Because these are two very strong individuals. So it might be that you're dealing with a very strong individual, Gemini, and you might consider them too perfect. Too perfect in the sense where their record is too clean. Interesting. It's like their record is too clean, where you kind of suspect that their shadow side is darker than you can imagine. But what they're telling me is that that's not for you to know if it's not revealed to you. So I think you guys are needing to back off on someone's shadow side and let that reveal let them tell you about their secrets. Don't look for their secrets, pretty much. With this space, I am seeing that's how the justice scales balance out, and then the wheel turns in your favor. Because with this being in the center here, Page of Wands and Ten of Pentacles, this is instantly bringing home a happy, stable, physical reality. Gemini. I love that. And I love that the fawn, two halves of the same whole, is definitely these two energies. Two very strong individuals, but they work quite well together. or someone who has dominance over the material world, and someone who has dominance over the spiritual realms. And Geminis are quite psychic. I have a Gemini mother. She'll just wake up sometimes and tell people about her dreams, and they happen to them. She tells me stories about this. When she goes to work, she has had dreams about her coworkers, and they're like, "Yo, like, are you a witch?" Yeah, she's crazy. My mother, Gemini mother. My God, you Geminis are just naturally psychic, but you might let it control your reality too much when you allow your mind to you might allow your mind to need to understand something in a specific way that you always have. And it's interesting because it's not a wrong thing to do. Whatever, I'm not even explaining it right. Whatever is coming through, it's not a wrong thing to do. This way of being, but at least for the situation you're dealing with, you're gonna want to evoke or invoke this sense of heart overhead. You are an air sign, so although you are spiritual, an air sign just naturally has the tendency to let their mind dominate a situation. At least that's what I'm getting intuitively. But yeah, Gemini, I feel like you're gonna be surprised with whoever you're dealing with here. Once you tap into this other side of yourself that doesn't falter at the sign of one thing that could go wrong. It's like, oh, something's wrong about them. Show's over. It's like moving on from that. I know that's probably not what you're doing, but that's just the example they're giving me to explain what I'm feeling right here for you, Gemini. But it's going from that to, I wonder why they feel like that. I wonder why they act like that. I wonder why their shadow side is like that. So it's like getting to know this person, pretty much. But there is just some surprise factor to this. It's like you might have thought someone was shy, and out of nowhere, 5 dates in, still shy, sixth date, boom, extrovert. You're like, what? It's like that. I don't know how to explain this energy, Gemini, but this was your message, Gemini. I hope that it resonated. I hope you simply enjoyed it. If it didn't, yeah, I'll see you on the next weekly. I'm gonna update y'all Kindred on whether or not I'm gonna do the weeklies this week, because we're uploading this Sunday, Monday. It's literally in between weeklies, and I don't like that. So I might just do an all signs weekly in the same video. All right, Gemini, travel safely through the night, the mind, into the light, the divine. And I say to you, farewell, receive this arrow of hope and love.